UFOs are real, burgeoning, and not going away. I am your intrepid host, L.A. Marzulli, special UFO report with our guest, Al Matthews. Once again, folks, Al Matthews joins us. Al was the centerpiece of our very first UFO film. I'll never forget, I think it was in 2015 or 16, I went up to Vancouver. Thank you, Gordy Tong, for making all this happen today. But Gordy made it happen almost a decade ago now. And I met Al and we conversed, and it's in our very first UFO film. Also, Al reappears in the abduction film, which is number 4. So we'll get into that and so much more, but first, a word from our trusted sponsor. Excess belly fat has been deemed the most dangerous fat of them all, as it's linked to so many health issues. The reason being, excess belly fat grows deep in the abdominal cavity and puts pressure on some of the body's most vital organs. That's one of the reasons why myself, along with so many people, are beginning to turn to this amazing new substance, which is thoughtfully formulated with science-backed ingredients that promote reduced fat storage, help to speed up the breakdown of fat, support weight management, reduce cravings, and boost metabolism. Folks, the best part I love is that you can get 51% off for the rest of the month or until they sell out, whichever comes first. Get yours now by going to trimwithla.com. Once again, that's trimwithla.com, trimwithla.com. I'm going to give this 30 days. I'll report back to you, and we'll see what it does. So Al Matthews joins us. Al, thanks so much for coming on the record. You know, you've always been very just forthcoming, and you know, if you've got something, you always share it with me, and I just want to thank you because then we can share it with the viewers. And just thanks for coming on the record. Thanks for all that you've done to help get the word out. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Here we go again.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I start showing the clips, and we can talk about those, I'll do a share screen, and that'll show up over here on camera too.
Right.
Tell us the backstory here, please.
Oh, it's a good one. My neighbor 2 doors down has heard all my testimonies. He had this lady come over, and she started showing him these pictures. And he goes, I've got a friend that's into the paranormal. He'd love to see these. So I ended up finally hooking up with this girl, having a chat with her. We didn't talk too long. She said she hikes up in this area called the Westwood Plateau, which is about 15 miles from me. It's a mountain range that looks over the city of Vancouver. As soon as she told me that, bing, I'm thinking, that's where people are going missing.
Right.
David Pilates was up there. He made a comment, and this is quite the comment. When he was up there with a couple of RCMP, he said that place creeped him out so much they got out of there. Well, I see why now, after looking at some of this footage. This girl hikes up there, sometimes alone, early in the morning. I go, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
Yeah, that is no survival instincts. And by the way, Al, just for, let me just stop you right there for a second. I did an interview with David Pilates. He interviewed me for one of his films, up and coming films, and that happened last Thursday here in the Santa Monica Mountains. I drove to a very remote location and met David for the first time, and we really hit it off, and it was great. But you know, I told him in no uncertain terms that what we're dealing with here is wickedness. These are not benevolent space brothers. So pick up a story from there, please.
Totally. So I warned this girl, do not go up there anymore. Even when you're with friends, you're seeing all these weird things, portals, orbs. And I go, it's like they're playing with you. She described each encounter. And believe me, she's documented these things, the times, the dates. There's many more. I'll try and get her on. Maybe I can work my magic and get her on. But I told her a couple of stories just to wake her up. That area is highly charged. That's the way I put it. There's a huge BC hydro grid on top of that mountain. We'll see that in some of these pictures. Now, she didn't have time to video them because it really freaked her out, but she kept going back. I go, these things are almost like playing with you.
Yeah.
I go, do you have any indigenous blood? She goes, yes. But she goes, I'm not into any of this channeling. She goes, it's almost like what's it called? The realm or whatever is being, what's the word?
The veil. The veil is being lifted.
The veil is being lifted is what she said. And she was saying the right thing. She believes in the Almighty God and Jesus Christ. She had a near-death experience, and now she's saying she has a gift of discernment. And she's using that going up these trails and thinks she's covered with everything. I go, don't test it, because I've heard other stories. 15 miles west of that area, there's a ski slope that's very popular, Cypress Bowl. I talked to a gentleman up there that used to groom the slopes. He'd go up around midnight, up there for 4 or 5 hours. He said he had this thing come up behind his machine from a distance, and he said it looked like a massive dog with glowing red eyes.
Wow.
What's that, a hellhound? And then he said it vanished. He's seen hooded beings around a circle. They didn't even hear his tractor, which is super loud, which got his attention. They vanished. That's one story. Another story up there, below that grid, there's a gorgeous place called Bunsen Lake. You're not allowed to camp up there. There's trails everywhere, beautiful lake. This couple and their son went up there. They stayed overnight. The guy said there was something in the woods with glowing red eyes stalking them and moving from side to side so quickly. He said his feeling was hopelessness and absolute fear. They got the heck out of there. They left their camping stuff there. They never said they're never going back. So I told this girl that to wake her up. Now, the footage is from different occasions, but I said it's like these things are watching you.
Yeah.
They are the watchers. And don't play with this stuff. There's a portal opening up. You'll see in each video what she described as something changing shape. And I go, it's morphing.
Yeah.
There's a green entity in each of these pictures that morphs. It comes in, comes out. She goes, you could see through it. It would disappear and then come back. And she said one of them came out of a ship that landed. So if you want to start showing
I
the
will.
picture.
And these are just still shots. They're not videos.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, but here we go. So what am I looking at here, Al?
You're looking at a portal opening up with a ship coming out. You're going to see all these smaller little dots, these white dots, which are orbs. And then again, what I described as that green, she said it was alive. She doesn't have a clue what it is, either do I. But these things have been seen in Mexico.
Right.
I mean, my son was talking about that.
Let me ask you something, Al.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what am I looking at? I see the green object. What's and that white? Is that the moon? What am I looking at there?
That's a ship coming out of a portal.
Whoa.
That's a portal. Remember I mentioned portals before?
No, I get it.
That's a portal opening up with this thing coming out.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Let me see if I can enlarge that. No, it won't let me enlarge it. Which really kind of sucks. Let me see if I can do this. No,
I was blown away by the footage.
Yeah, I am too. That is, I mean, you can see it there on the second camera, folks. It's like right in your face. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's go to the second image. Okay, so
now this one is interesting again. That's another ship. Obviously, it's in the evening when she's walking off this trail by herself. Look at that green ball of light.
yeah, I'm trying to zone in on it. There we go. Look at that, Al.
It's weird. She
No,
said it
that's
was
like, wow.
alive.
I mean, it almost looks like, like in science class when you would see an atom and you would see all the the paths of the electrons and the neutrons. I mean, look at this right in here.
Nuts.
That is, I've honestly, Al, I've seen a lot of stuff. You know that.
Me too.
I've never seen anything like that. That is.
Now, shrink that a bit and look at that orb at the top left. I opened up that orb. It looks like an eyeball. Look at it.
Yeah.
That's what was seen in Rembleston Forest.
Yeah.
He said it looked like an eyeball staring at them.
Wow. And then there's the ship coming through.
There's another ship at night, and that ball of light is just exactly brings me back to 1993 when that thing showed up. I looked up in the sky and I go, man, that's a bright light. And this thing shot out of it. It's not an orb, it's a ship. And the brightest white light, it's identical to what I've seen years ago.
Wow. I just want to take a moment and thank her for allowing us to, to use the photographs.
Mm-hmm.
This is this is interesting. Look at this. It's almost like it's splitting into two.
It's morphing.
It's morphing, and look at the energy around this, folks.
Oh,
look
I know.
at that. That is just, Al. I'm telling you, I've never seen pictures like this, and
LA,
and I've been in the field a long time.
Exactly. When I heard I was going to see these pictures, I'm going, oh, here we go again. They're just pictures. But when I looked at these, I was just absolutely blown away. There's that green, whatever it is, thing. It's in all these pictures. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Now that's out of, I guess, when she was filming it, distorted a bit with that.
Well, it's amazing that she can even get the photos. You know this because oftentimes when you go point your camera at something, nothing shows up, or
I know
nothing, or your battery's drained or whatever. So
that's they're playing with her.
I was going to say that.
I believe that.
I don't want to because there's no way to vet this, folks. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. They can shut this stuff off. How do I know that? Because these guys can take 9 intercontinental ballistic missiles and shut them off like that, right off a grid. We know this. That's the testimony of Robert Salas. So for whatever reason, they're allowing her to take pictures. And we all know that most of the time, you don't get anything on your camera. In fact, I remember one guy trying to photograph on his iPhone, and the iPhone heated up. He had to drop it. So let's go to the next one. Wow. That's amazing, Gordy. It really is. Now, what am I? You can look at this here, folks. This is
That's
really,
another one she took, and there's a clearer one. She said it was a beam not coming from the sky, coming out of the ground. When she sees this stuff, she gets the heck out of there. But that's a beam of light coming out of the ground up on that mountain, and she got the heck out of there. It was dusk, and she knew it was getting darker and darker. So that's weird. And got the heck out of there.
And you can see here, there's some sort of light emanating through the trees.
Weirdness. She's so creepy.
No, it is. Well, it's about to get a little creepier, if I do say so myself. Yeah. So this is, that's, wow.
Look at that. That's a ship at the top. That black thing is a ship.
Right here.
And that
right here. That's
exactly.
That's the ship.
And LA, the beam stops at the top of the tree.
Yeah, it does. You can see it. The beam comes from the ship.
Yeah.
Because look, there's the ship. It's very, very obvious that there's something round, this shape. Yeah. It's black, so it's cloaking. And again, we're like, people. How do you know it's cloaking? Well, I don't know it's cloaking. I'm using verbiage to try to describe what it is I'm looking at. But to me, it's like there's a very cylindrical shape. It's pretty obvious, and this beam is emanating from that shape. And here's a tree line. You can see that very clearly, and it stops right at the top.
Look at the power of that light.
It's unbelievable. That
just remember
incredible.
When I was lowered in that beam of light.
There you go.
How bright it is. Right. As soon as I saw that, it's not even nowhere near as big as the beam of light, but it's identical in its style, its shape. It's just, that is just crazy. And for her to be walking down a trail by herself, seeing that, and then she got the heck out of there, good on her, but don't test this stuff. That's what I told her.
No, I concur. This one, we're gonna get into some real intense stuff here. So, obviously, right in here is something that is manifesting.
Shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there. I mean, this is out in the middle of nowhere.
Nowhere. There's no
Nothing
houses,
around.
no cabins. She said it looked like a fire. There was no fire up there.
Right, no fire, but it looks
That's
like a
how
fire.
bright that is.
And this is like going back into Travis Walton and what Travis Walton would say, fire in the sky, right? I mean,
Exactly.
it's we use these terms, we use the verbiage that we have, but I mean, I'm looking at that and I immediately go to fire because that's what you would expect, but it's not a fire.
Exactly.
But it's not a fire.
Not.
It's not a fire. This next
Now,
one
this is a good one.
Yeah, this is mind-boggling. Wow.
That light is coming out of the ground. She was looking at the ground. It's not a bunch of natural lights on the ground where these grids are. These things are sucking power out of these grids. And look at the right. That green thing is showing
Right
up
there.
again.
Right. It almost looks like there's like spotlights placed on the ground because there's lights with like a pole going down. What are we looking at there, Al? I mean, what?
I mean, I'm looking at the top of this light. I'm looking at the top of this light, and it's totally even if you make it smaller. It's right across the board. And she walked up and she said the light was coming out of the ground, out of the dirt. You hear these stories of mountains lighting up. It's not coming from the sky. It's coming from the mountain top,
Yeah,
out of the rock, out of the. This is nuts.
Yeah, this is out of all the pictures, this is the one that just blows me away. Wow.
There's no buildings there. Zero. Just those grids.
Wow.
And she didn't want to walk any further. I go, I guess not. That's the trail you can go around. She goes, no, I got out of there.
Wow.
I'm going to get more. I'm going to try and get her on.
Huh.
But this is some of the best footage I've seen.
I agree.
And look at this. It looks like a picture, fake, but it's not. It was the sun going down and she turned around and then saw that thing in the sky, whatever that is, with that green ball of light. It looks like a half moon or something.
Yeah.
But look at it, like, what is that?
I mean, if Richard Shaw were here, if Richard Shaw was here, he would go, well, you're shooting into the sun, so you're going to get what's called, sun flares and lens flares, rather.
Right. So why is that other green thing up there, too?
Yeah, it's very, very strange. Wow. Wow. And the cloud formation is off the hook.
Yeah.
Wow.
Crazy, crazy stuff. And she has all kinds of more stuff documented.
Wow.
I'm going to find out more about this lady. Seems very genuine. I mean, we're going to go up there during the day. As I said, it's about 15 miles away. We'll go up during the day and check the ground where all that light, where she said it lit up. She goes, she couldn't believe it when she walked up and saw the ground, the dirt lit up from the inside. It's like it was coming from inside the earth. I've heard natives say, indigenous folks say, stay off the mountains where the lights are.
Well, stay off the mountain when the lights are. It's just like Skinwalker Ranch. Native Americans know exactly who it is they're dealing with. They don't go there. That's why you'll see, when you see the circle like this, where it goes clockwise, and this was told to me by Doris as part of our team, when that circle, which is carved in the rock, goes clockwise, it's safe to enter. When you see that circle go counterclockwise, which is what we see at the entrance or near Skinwalker, that means don't go in here. You don't want to go there at all. So Native Americans know what they're dealing with. It's funny how David Paulides, once again, he interviewed me about Sasquatch and all this stuff and what I thought it was. And of course, I believe we're looking at Nephilim, and they're nefarious. There's nothing good about them. And I get it. Some people, there's a mixed bag. The late Scott Carpenter, we talked about Scott off the record. David and I did. David Paulides and I did. Talked about Scott off the record. I'll just say this, that Scott was talking, he was very fearful. And he called me up about 2 months before he passed away, and he said, LA, they're coming up to the house now. They're crossing the boundary. They knew where he lived. They're coming up to the house. So I talked to David, and I gave him my thoughts, which I won't go public with, but I gave him my thoughts, and we had a discussion off camera about Scott. David has invited me to his October conference. I think it's the 5th and 6th of October up in Montana. And I've already, said, I'll more than happy to come up for that. Yeah, definitely. Al, thanks so much for coming on the record. You were, once again, the tent pole, and I want to thank Gordy Tong for hooking us up and allowing us to use Gordy's studio, up in Vancouver. And just, Gordy was basically acting as a producer for that film. And I can't thank you enough. And since then, we've been in contact. We've kept this line of communication open. You've appeared numerous times on the show. You're a researcher, and what you just allowed us to see here, I can't thank you enough for. Those pictures are eye-opening and startling. I'll give you the last word, and thanks, Gordy, for hooking all this up, and thanks, Al, for coming on the record.
First of all, my pleasure, and there's more to come. I'm hearing more stories, like just when you think you've heard it all, I'm hearing more stories about hybrids. There's more people seeing orbs. The people going missing are left, right, and center in this area where I am. It's a highly charged area of negativity, and we will be in touch soon, my friend.
Well, there you go, folks, and you heard it, and I just thank you, Al, once again, Al and Gordy, for just making yourselves available. The pictures are amazing, just startling pictures. But, folks, I'll be down in Texas the end of January. Go to lamarzulli.net. If you've not read Stolen Seed, Evil Harvest by Karen Wilkinson, it's a fantastic book. And Al knows all about that because he was involved in it. So lots to go on. I want to thank Rachel, who's now handling all of our social media, and just the team here that we have of people that help put the shows up. John Adam, our line producer, he does all the editing for the daily shows. So if you've got a story like this, if you've got pictures, shoot us a email, supernatural@lamarzulli.net, supernatural@lamarzulli.net. Al, I'm gonna save this for Supernatural Confrontation /UFO update because it's both. It's unbelievable, and I just want to thank you again. Folks, remember, UFOs are real. They are burgeoning, and they're not going away. Thanks so much for watching.